I'm not going to lecture you on racism and sexism, but we do, in the population movement as a whole, carry a burden of racism and nativism that doesn't come from anything like the vast majority of people. It's just like Stephen Mumford was saying yesterday, Catholic reproductive performance is just fine. The Vatican's attitudes and their policies are just awful. And one can say the same thing for the population movement. All of us, at least everybody I know here, wants to do good things for people and good things for the country. There have been people who are both interested in population control, but they wanted to control the population of people who looked different from them or had a different religion or something like that. We can't stop dealing with the overall problem because there have been racists or nativists somewhere involved in our movement. If we get a movement that's big enough, we're going to have all kinds of jerks in it. You can't miss. I mean, if you picked them all from the Senate, you'd have jerks in it, right? So you might just as well face that. And when people say it's a racist or a nativist movement, just say everything in our society's got racism in it. Everything in our society has sexism in it. There's nothing like gender equality, even in the United States. And I know from personal experience, not in China, not in Sweden, we have these problems as human beings. We've got to solve our other problems while we try to solve them. And I think it's really important that all of us keep that in mind, that we want to make it very, very clear that John Holder and I, for example, are attacked repeatedly, every day virtually, in the blogs as eugenicists. And I couldn't figure it out for a long time. I've written books against eugenics. Eugenics, from any geneticist's point of view, is just insane, and so on. And it finally dawned on me, they don't know what eugenics is. They think that you're a eugenicist if you think there are too many people in the world. And it's, so you're fighting not only bad attitudes and misinformation, you're fighting people who are idiots. And unfortunately, in the U.S. today, I'm afraid they're winning. All right, this is sort of the end of the spiel. Every environmental scientist I know well, everyone really that I know, and I think virtually all the scientists I know have come to one very solid conclusion, and that is we have more than enough information on the issues that are of interest to the people here, be it how many people there are in the United States, the rate of population growth, the relationship between population growth and environmental deterioration, the fact that skin color is, unlike what my colleague William Shockley once said, is no indicator of quality whatsoever, that skin color is a very variable characteristic that evolves very rapidly. Everyone in this room is descended from somebody with a very dark colored skin and probably went through several shifts in between because it's very labile to natural selection because of the way the solar radiation is treated physiologically. We know what needs to be done. Even an economist so dumb as to write for the Wall Street Journal editorial pages understands, for instance, that gasoline is underpriced, right? They've heard of externalities and so on and so forth. The problem isn't having information. The problem is that people given the information will not necessarily do the right thing and often won't. And this is well known to social scientists, but not well known to most well-meaning people and most natural scientists who keep saying, and I just was in another meeting last weekend, in which the idea was to get better information on climate out to more people. We have wonderful information on climate. It's widespread. There's no dispute whatsoever in the scientific community about the really important parts of it. And yes, guess what? We're coming up on our 16th international failure to do something about it. So what I'm convinced of, and all my colleagues are convinced of, is that we need to turn more to the social sciences, to the general public from the bottom up, and discuss human behavior and figure out how to change cultural evolution, how to change our norms. We are buried in a norm of high growth and oil. And until we get off of that norm, until people can break that down, there are others, obviously, that can be named, we're not going to get anywhere. Just pushing out scientific information, just knowing the numbers. If the number of immigrants goes up tenfold, that'll go in the newspaper. It won't make any difference, generally, unless somebody takes it and explains it and shapes it in a way that people all get and move to action. And that's one of the things that social scientists know a lot about. And Bill here, collaborating with some very good social scientists, including Al Bandura at Stanford, has had this wonderful impact by running telenovelas in poor countries, doing surveys first to see what the fertility rate is, and then doing surveys afterwards to see what's happened to the fertility rates, and gotten wonderful results. And it fits in with something that the social scientists were always saying. Got to have narratives, got to have stories, got to work that. We don't think enough in those terms. And so I would plead with all of you to get involved in the Millennium Assessment of Human Behavior if and when we ever really get it going, but it is going in some sense internationally already, to shift the focus around to not, everybody in this room has, I think, basically the same goal for the United States, but we don't know how to do it. And one of the things we've got to focus on is learning how to do it. And I hope you'll all get involved in that. And once again, it's been thrilling to spend 2 days with people who are actually interested in these issues. Thank you.